Yo.
Go ahead.
So at the end of or the start of last session, we had just finished our fight in the Temple of Tiamat against Severin, and we started to make our way out, but it was collapsing awful hard. Ren force caged Rathmodar's unconscious body to avoid it taking damage. Unfortunately, Curtis was pinned under some debris. We all got out in time, partially thanks to Goldine turning everyone into giant eagles. Um, we were forced to leave Curtis, who's probably unfortunately dead, but that's only a temporary affliction for us, and Rathmodar in the force cage and return later. We then went back into the caves and we decided to take on the Drakhorn in order to help our forces' morale. Upon entering the treasure chamber that led to it, we encountered a dragon fang and two flesh golems, which were quite gross. We fought them. A couple of guard drakes came out in the fight, and we won against all of them. We went deeper in towards the sound of the Drakhorn. Eventually, it was nearly impassable. Only Lorik able to get in. Cuyahoga then cast silence around it, so then we all just got in. It was very easily at that point. Uh, Inside that chamber, there were a stone golem and an air elemental, both of which we fought and won against. And then the Drakhorn was silent, which I guess was noticed, and we heard the sound of presumably cultists approaching.
I forgot we were gonna get into combat again.
You sure did. You see a cluster of cultists. One of them, four of them have the shoulder pauldrons of dragon wings, while they appear to be led by a dragon soul and dragon fang. They're all hustling down the corridor to the northwest. You see them there on your map. And we're kicking off tonight with everyone rolling for initiative.
Oh shit.
That's how I like to start.
I had dropped seeming right before I force choke electrocuted that guy to death, just as a reminder, so we look like us again.
Okay.
Well, could you? It required a full action, so I thought you.
We've had more than we've had like more than that outside.
Yeah, you've had like a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to have dropped
Look
it.
at Lorik with the nat 20.
Oh.
Nice.
And that thing where it won't let me zoom in part of the map.
Enjoy the level 15 battles, fellas and lady, because they're going away soon.
Oh, back to
oh,
level
good.
1.
I am closest to everything.
I noticed that.
Actually,
I'm sure it'll be fine. You guys are all gonna go before I do anything.
Pretty sure I'm not. Pretty sure Danny Lee's not.
At least a few of you are going to have a chance to move in front of me. Justy, I officially multi-classed my halfling into monk.
Nice.
Last night.
Wait, I thought you were already a monk.
I am in another campaign. I like it a little bit too much.
Oh. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This is a worse angle.
Oh, by the way, remember when they lost my my food for the cat?
Yeah.
Guess what showed up this afternoon?
The food?
Yeah. 4 days later.
Nice.
4 literal days later.
You should write him a message and say, "I'm sorry to tell you this, but my cat's starved to death."
No, I would never do that. I would never.
They have died. You owe me 1 new cat, sir.
They gave me a free bag of food. I can't be upset with that.
Yeah,
that's
New
true.
cats.
Good on them.
Energy drink.
Yeah, Chewy's a good company.
Yeah, I like Chewy.
Yeah.
Which is funny because they're owned by PetSmart.
Yeah. I mean, I like PetSmart too as far as pet stores go. Pet supply stores.
I'm kind of 0 out of 10 on PetSmart, but
okay. The cultists are advancing toward you in the hallway. They have approached with weapons drawn. They're clearly coming for battle.
Or can I not hear anyone?
We're not. We can hear you, Ryan.
We can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you guys now.
Okay, cool. Lorik, you are
Wait,
first.
are you
to
asking if you could hear us or if you're deafened as a character?
Oh right.
No.
You
No,
are
like
still
Oh,
deaf,
Lorik, yeah,
aren't you?
Lorik is 100% deaf as a character right now. Thank you for reminding me.
Good call.
Oh.
No, that's a bad call. What do you mean?
Ryan, do you want some hot chocolate?
I'll take some apple cider.
Okay.
I would also like some apple cider.
Okay. That'll be there in approximately an hour.
That sounds pretty good right now.
Right?
Make that 3.
Doing Lorik.
Aside from not answering questions.
You gotta say it. You gotta describe it.
Yeah, so not being able to hear them, but seeing everyone turn and start moving towards the tunnel, Lorik ran over here and cast Flame Strike on this group right here.
Well, that was a
Alright.
fun combat, guys. See y'all tomorrow.
Okay. Bye.
Yeah, the hallway is filled with a huge ball of flame. Basically taking up. It's like a fireball just erupted. It takes up the entire corridor. Let's see. That's 31 total. Is this one that's half if they fail? Yeah. Or half if they succeed, rather. All right.
Missing something.
My turn will be done after you do all
Yeah,
you
I'm-
reconcile all that.
I'm plugging in the equations.
That's what I'm missing, the fireplace. Just didn't feel right. It's honestly really soothing. I'm surprised I don't fall asleep every campaign. Just because it's so freaking soothing.
You almost do by the end of this session.
Man, you have no idea.
That's probably contributing to it. Okay. One of the dragon wings in the center, the one that has started to approach ahead of the others, like moving before them, throws himself against the side of the wall as the flame erupts. He's the least singed of the 4 dragon wings. 2 of them you see burnt to a crisp on the ground when the flames are done, but the dragon fang, as well as one of the other dragon wings, are still alive, though the fire has hit them full force.
Wait, did you not get an initiative, Beba?
No, it was probably my shortcut thing that I pushed to mute my mic and unmute my mic, and it's probably
Okay.
rolling initiative for me.
Those are both very good initiative rolls, though.
Sorry.
That's alright.
I just noticed it's actually changing the number in the turn order.
Yeah, that's kind of...
Goldeen's is changing.
Yep.
With each
Oh
initiative.
god, everybody else rolled below it. Ooh, okay.
Sorry, I was like a 12, I think.
Yeah,
You were 12.
And you're still in the right order.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Everybody else is like, oh man, it's been a long day.
I mean,
The dragon fang
it's not wrong.
rushes through the flame. He is at the edge of the flame when it dies down. Has just charged through straight for Ren.
Yeah. I'm harder to kill than I look.
I should hope so.
I mean, we'll see.
I guess rolling slow tonight. Okay, and starts pressing Ren backward into the room. You take 9 piercing damage and 0 poison damage as the blade strikes the first time, and then 8 piercing damage and 0 poison damage the second.
So 17 total?
17 total.
Okay.
And then it is Goldine's turn to act.
All right. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I'm gonna cast something I never cast before.
Wow, what a time to break it out.
Yep.
Oh man. On who?
42.
Let's go this guy right here.
Good night.
Okay,
You can survive in this.
down the corridor.
Yeah. What's the radius on? Is there a radius, or is it just targeted one person?
I think it's just a target.
It's, yeah, it's one person.
Okay. Okay.
8d8?
Yeah. I mean, again, we're level 15 characters.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But
like,
That's also that's a pretty good roll for 8d8. There was only one below a 4.
stuff is gonna die pretty quickly.
In the middle of the passage, the dragon wing that has survived the flame, it's like his spirit has left his body. You just see him like casting, almost locked in a scream, his face upward, and then the like his body turns gray, and you see it like become real sunken and sallow, and he just collapses dead.
Rip.
So my action for that though was, I just look at him and I go, snap my finger.
All right.
That happens.
All right, Thanos.
I think my favorite. Sorry, go ahead.
That ends my turn.
I think my favorite type of that is Lord Soth from the Dragonlance books.
Oh, I've never read Dragonlance, but I got an audiobook as a gift.
Oh man, if it's Lord Soth, it's awesome. He's a Death Knight, and literally just uses power word kill. Just points at someone and says die. Pretty great.
I'll do it.
Looking forward to getting into those. Vina.
All right. So seeing this, Vina pulls out her fist. 5. There we go. 10, 15, 20. Roll 20 is going real slow for me.
Yeah, me too.
25, 30, 35, 40, 50, 55, 60. And I don't... Do I get, what you call it, from Ren?
Flanking?
I feel like I need to be here for
Not
that.
here, no.
No, it'd have to be up there, yeah.
Yeah.
There you do.
I don't play. Yeah, but I don't have enough movement to get there, so... Oh well. So I will...
Whatever will you do?
Right. Where's the button? There it is. Strike. Oh, those are supposed to be an advantage. I guess those can just be my 2 rolls then. I was gonna do it twice.
Okay. All right. Your first strike misses. The second lands home, right in the back of the knee, buckling the Dragon Fang's leg. It drives him away from Ren and kind of stops that momentum, but he's still on his feet.
For now.
Alright. Well, I'm not going to use my last key point on this guy, so that's my turn.
Okay. The dragon soul steps into view. 5. That would be 30 there. All right. The dragon soul lifts off of the ground, leaps across the corridor through the air, soaring just over the dragon wing to land on the opposite side, and drops down at Vina. And everyone sees a familiar face looking over toward you. With his short sword drawn, he strikes twice toward Vina, and Lorik looks once again upon the face of Che Shao.
Oh.
Oh, this fucker.
Oh no. We killed him, didn't we?
No.
We let them arrest him.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. We did let them around. Okay, yeah.
Guess what's not happening this time?
I mean, I can't guarantee he's not gonna die.
The moment of recognition is enough for him to get enough leverage toward Vina to drive the short sword in, like just into Vina's arm before she's able to pull it away. You take 16 piercing damage.
I kind of wish he hadn't dropped the glamour.
You also take 13 lightning damage as the sword makes contact. A jolt of lightning arcs its way up your arm, numbs that arm for a moment, and then the second strike misses.
I just feel like it'd be funny if we dropped it just in time for Lorik to just cave his head in.
It is Ren's turn.
Okay, can I fit into the space north of me? It looks like there's at least half a space there.
Yes.
Okay. I flank, and I just reach out and try to grab this asshole by the jaw and shocking grasp him. I'm just done.
Make your attack roll at advantage.
Oh, it's almost a nat 20.
All right. You send lightning arcing up his face. You see it dancing between the eyes, like the space between them is being lit up. He's still alive though. Although this magic weakens him to the point that he's like struggling to catch his breath.
Okay, I'm out of the way enough, and I am giving Vina flanking, so I'm gonna stay where I am for now.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Can I see Che Shao, or is he? I can't see him, right?
Vina's technically a
You
small
see him.
character.
Vina's just providing half cover.
Okay.
Would she be with her? Isn't she a small frame character?
Yeah, she still takes up a 5-foot space.
Lame.
She actually has her hair styled like Marge Simpson, so that's why.
I see. I see. Is that not a weapon?
At least 1d4 bludgeoning.
She headbutts them, and it entangles them.
I see. I see.
I'm gonna put a Guardian of Faith somewhere.
Somewhere. Okay. Okay.
The thing is,
Come on, camera, focus, you piece of shit.
how much space does that take up? 10 by 10? Or, yeah, 10 by 10
Yeah,
square?
it's a large creature, 10 by 10.
If I put it right, can I put it right here? Wait.
Where's here?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it like,
Like here?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, one of those spaces is not navigable, but large creatures can. It's not even a large creature, it's just spectral. So I'm cool with that.
Okay, that'll be my turn.
All right, Glenmile.
Okay. What do I have for spells? Let's see. You'll go 5, 15, 25. And this poor son of a bitch.
Right. With your fancy new re-rolls.
Yep. I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Not quite.
Really?
You gouge through just above his midsection, like just a terrible wound that's pouring blood down the front of him, and he's like shocked, gasping, kind of falling back, but he's still alive.
That'll be my turn. I'll say hello to Cat.
Okay.
Wow. Hi, Olivia.
Kitty noises.
Yeah. Tickle baby. Yeah. Sure.
Dexterity saving throw. Okay.
No, it's okay, princess.
Okay. As the last remaining dragon wing
Go on.
pushes through to reach Vina, the Guardian of Faith takes a massive swing with its sword, carving down the man's back. He lands, or he wasn't flying, but he reaches the wall and just stumbled into it. One hand grasping at the wound, the other comes out to make two desperate scimitar attacks. Against Vina, the first deals 9 slashing damage, and you take 3 fire damage on top of that as the wound begins to burn. And then sword comes down again. This one just barely missing. It's like an inch away from your face as you pull back. And we are at Lorik's turn.
All right. So, tell me if you've heard this one before.
Flame strike.
And that is not hitting Vina, correct?
Correct. Not taking up half her space.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I remember what it's like to get hit by a fireball.
All right.
Wow.
Come on, character sheet.
Some good rolls. Well, partially.
That first one, certainly.
The first one, yeah.
Okay. The flame the flame doesn't look like it's fully catches. So this is the dragon wing that had dodged the flame the first time. And this time as well, you notice that it doesn't seem to catch and burn the same way it is for Che Xiao. It is like almost like there's a protective barrier around him against it. But the same cannot be said for the wound that was created by the Guardian of Faith along his back, and the fire sort of just pours into that area, leaving him dead. Che Xiao takes part of the flame. He's able to like push up forward toward Vina enough that he is only singed by it. Doesn't look too worried yet.
Okay. Is the space below Vina, is that passable? Her
Yeah.
name tag. Okay. So I go 5, 15, 25. 5, 15, 25.
Do
You,
you
may
still
still have
Patrick?
Long Strider.
Right, so, yeah. So hold on. No. Go back. Sorry. I was what, here? Yeah, so it so yeah, wouldn't that be, that'd be 5? No. I was right here. So this would be 5. I'm just doing math, sorry. 5, 15, and then 25 here.
The second diagonal there is 10 feet. So because that's difficult terrain, that space is going to be 20 feet of movement.
So he would be, okay, so I'm just going to go here then.
So it would be 25 into Glen Mile space, and then you get 30 feet over one.
Yeah, I don't want to, yeah. All right, so I'll just go here.
All right.
And I also yell, do not leave him for me, kill him now. And now my turn's done.
All right. The Dragon Fang. Pure desperation at this point. Surrounded on all sides, he flails desperately toward Vina, trying to reopen a path. And his first attack bites deep into Vina's shoulder blade. You take 17 piercing damage from that, and 0 poison damage. The second as well starts like forcing you off balance. You take 5 piercing damage from that, and 0 poison damage. And he is going to stand his ground. Nothing else he can do, so it's back to Goldine.
All right. Goldine says to himself, well, you know, that blade worked pretty well. I think I'm going to give it another go.
On who?
And this time at this guy. At this guy.
At Che Xiao.
Yep, Wang Chung, yep.
Wang Chung.
Yep.
Everybody Che Xiao tonight.
Everybody Wang Chung.
Okay. Che Xiao steps back suddenly, clutching at his chest, and pitches over like he's
Wait, does
like
he
someone
step,
has. No,
does he
he's not.
step
It
back
doesn't actually
into-
move him into a space. He's just
Okay.
stepping back a couple steps. And it's like someone has just punched him in the kidneys. Like he just suddenly is standing there gasping for breath. He's still alive though.
All right, that's Goldine's turn.
Vina.
All right. Vina's gotten hit a few times. She doesn't like that. But the best defense is a good offense, right? So Vina will take first one hit at the dragon wing.
Look at you using a sports saying. I'm so proud.
It's not a sports thing. It's a war thing.
If it's a Dragon Fang, it is at advantage.
I didn't hear what you
Oh,
said.
so it is.
Wouldn't mind weighing
There
in
we
on
go.
this.
I said a good defense is the best defense is a good offense.
Yeah,
Which
that's
is-
definitely a war thing. Sorry, buddy.
Um,
All right. A sharp kick into the already off balance Dragon Fang brings him down to the ground, where the as part of the same attack into an uppercut that snaps his neck sideways and kills him. He falls to the ground dead.
all right. And with that, Vina turns around, briefly locking eyes with Lorik, and just gives Che Shao a roundhouse kick.
All right. He's already like pitched over. The kick sends him a couple feet backward again. He's very off balance. He's out of breath. He's wounded. He's still alive.
And then Vina goes 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Shouldn't want to get hit again.
Did you count his space as difficult terrain?
I did.
Okay, cool.
Also, I still have 10 more feet of movement, so.
Yeah.
And, yeah, because I believe that I can travel through enemy spaces.
Yes. As a
Okay.
halfling, you can travel through any space of a creature
It's just difficult terrain.
Yeah,
one size larger than you. Yeah.
yeah, that's what it is. So, yeah. Cool. That's my turn.
Okay. Che Xiao fumbles for an orb in one of his pockets that he removes, and points down the corridor toward Vina as she's running away.
What a jerk.
Douchebag would be the term I'd use.
This crackling bolt of lightning emerges from it and strikes the wall next to Vina as she's moving back, and chips like rocks go flying off into the hallway. And he's still got the orb in one hand, the sword in the other, just looks back at the random warriors who have just taken down his crew and just says, "It matters not. I lived my life in service of the Lady of Dragons."
But they're not random. She dropped the glamour a while ago.
Oh. Before the battle?
Yep.
Yeah, before we even started, you were like, you didn't use your action to, and I was like, oh, I would have dropped it in
Okay.
the interim.
I didn't catch that. Then that's fine.
He didn't recognize us because we mean nothing to him.
It's Ren's turn.
Okay. That is not what I wanted to do. Click. Move. No. Move here. I shoot him 3 times with Eldritch Blast.
Okay. Can you move your thing closer to your face? You're super quiet on that mic.
Yeah, sorry. Here you go. Ba, ba,
Okay.
ba. I shoot him at least a couple times with Eldritch Blast.
Oh, one of them's gonna...
The third one misses.
What?
Third one only does 1 more damage than the first one.
That's depressing.
Hold on a second. That
Yeah, it didn't roll a critical, did it? Yeah, it did.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if... No, that's my bonus, so you're fine. I was making sure it wasn't doing the thing again where it doesn't add my charisma.
Yep.
We're good.
Okay, the first blast strikes the wall, but the other 2 strike into either shoulder, rocking him back 1, 2, in this repeated volley, and he looks on his last legs.
Okay, Ren does that. That was 5 feet. I moved 10 feet. 15 feet. 20 feet. And she just sort of like bows at the hip to Lorik and does one of those like 2 hands extended, like have at be towards Shao. That's the end of her turn.
Hoga.
I will. What will I do? Yeah, let's do that. Well, yeah. Sure. Okay. I am going to Fairy Fire. 20-foot cube. I'm gonna put it on Cheshao.
Color.
Okay, hang on. Yeah, what color? Fairy fire.
Let's say neon pink.
It has to be
Right
blue, green, or
there.
violet.
Oh, never mind. Violet.
Okay, yeah, that's close enough. All right, yeah, there's enough room to just get him. He's going to, what is that? A dexterity save. This spell always cracks me up because you're trying to leap away from light. Okay, you see for a moment the light that extends from your hand wreath around Cheshao, but then it flickers and fades as he runs it off.
Boo. Wait. Yeah. Okay. All right, done.
All right.
Mile.
He just steps up and says, "I believe I owe you a little payback," and takes a swing. Takes another swing. There we go. And
Okay,
he will.
ducks beneath the first.
The second
Go
one is absolutely going to be a tier 3. Whatchamacallit? Divine Smite.
Okay.
That would be how many? Where are we looking here? Divine Smite. Third level is 3d8? Or 48?
Third level is 4d8.
48. Believe that might be good night.
38 damage. The first attack missed. You can describe how he dodges that if you wish.
Oh, it's just
Describe the second hit.
God. The first hit was just a feint, swinging over his head just to build up enough. He swings over his head, builds up enough steam in order to come around, and with a quick chopping motion, there won't be much left. It'll just be a messy 2 halves of body.
Yeah, it goes with the divine light infused into the sword. It just carves through him like a turkey, and Cheshao is no more.
Glenmile just kind of turns to Lorik, blood dripping from the sword, and says, "I hope you don't mind."
Keep in mind, Lord can't hear you.
He made sure to kind of. Hopefully, the guy can lip read because he spoke slowly enough. Can Rycrove hear us?
Yep.
Okay, good. That pause there kind of had me worried.
All right. I didn't calculate this experience in advance, so
Rip.
excuse me. Hold tight.
So in the meantime, Lorik walks up to Glenmile, and again, being deaf, doesn't use his indoor voice and puts his hand on Glenmile's shoulder and says, "Yells, thank you, my friend."
Glenmile just nods.
Everybody receives 1,083 experience points.
Yeah.
1083. which is also the price of a soda in Lower Manhattan.
Sadly, that's not exactly that inaccurate.
That's the price of a pack of cigarettes for sure.
$176,330.
Maybe we'll get those extra 20,000 experience points before the end.
You know?
22, please.
Yeah.
I guess detect magic in the room. Just look around at anything that might be in here, including the Drakhorn.
What in the world?
Just to make sure we don't miss anything important.
Detect magic in the room with the Drakhorn?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just to see what kind of aura it gives off, and to see if there's anything else like laying in here that happens to be magical. Real quick.
And 1 mile will pick up the short sword from Che Xiao when you have a chance.
I'm gonna heal Vina with a healer's kit.
Okay.
I'll take it.
Okay.
Venus says thank you, Kyoka.
And what? Sorry, what was Glen Mile picking up? I only caught part of that.
The short sword from Che Xiao whenever you're done describing
Okay.
whether or not there's magic.
Okay. The Drakhorn radiates a powerful aura of magic, but doesn't cast any specific
Aura?
school.
Okay.
But it is quite magical.
Yeah, I figured. Okay, and there's nothing else scattered around the room of import.
The Spectral Guardian should keep it relatively safe until we could send someone to go retrieve it.
Ooh. Not a thing that we can carry out, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think you said 6 of us would need to carry it out.
Yeah. That's okay. We can skedaddle. It's not making noise anymore, which was the important thing.
So Lork turns around and yells, "So what are we doing now?"
Ren just points.
Yeah, we
back
should go
down the
out
tunnel.
and help our friends.
Yeah, hopefully turning that thing off has helped their morale. Maybe we already won. Who can say?
The cat that is currently chewing on whatever the hell that thing is. Looks like a spine.
Cat toy.
It looks like a spine that you have in your hand right now.
Yeah, kinda. It's made to look like a centipede or.
Oh, okay.
Oh!
That makes more sense.
Alright.
Fucking lost the assault and fell over.
Yeah, he does that.
Da-da-da. It was this way. Do-do-do.
Goldine stays behind. There we go.
I'm not moving.
He was daydreaming.
You got nothing else to do right now.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
What is that little,
What the
like,
hell?
wispy, cloudy thing here down here?
That is the spectral guardian.
Guardian.
Oh,
Uh,
got it. Okay.
Hey, Ryan.
Yeah.
Ren says, keep going, I'll be right there. Do I see any very fancy rings? They don't have to be magical, but just like big ass, fancy, valuable.
The fuck?
In this room or in the treasure pile, as we.
You do
Oh,
not
snap,
in this room.
Okay.
There's nothing
Someone's-
like a ring in there.
Okay.
In the vast room of treasure, make a perception check.
Is that open to anyone, or is that specific to Ren?
This is specific to Ren, unless anybody else is
Looking for rings?
taking a. Oh yeah, looking for something specific. There's so much treasure in here.
Anything that's
This is
smaller
like
than me.
this is like filled to the brim, mountains and mountains of treasure. It's quite possible that there's something like that in here,
Okay,
but
that's
it's
fine.
not something you're gonna find passing through.
I was just gonna pick up something like fancy and obviously incredibly valuable if I saw it, but I'm not gonna stop to look.
Someone was gonna pop the question.
She's getting a ring for Leosin.
Carlin is still
Carlin, sorry.
embarrassed when I admit that I know him in public, so
Yeah, it's so freaking weird, honestly.
and we want to go left if we intend to leave.
Yes.
I think we should.
Get me the out
Okay.
of here.
Jump off the map.
Ren phases through the wall.
Wow.
Unless we want to go explore to the north there, but I feel like we should just leave.
I'm
I mean,
Wait.
unless
No,
there's
hang on. Did I hear that right? Ren suggesting
What?
we leave instead of explore?
Well, I don't know what else we would be exploring for at this point. Like
I don't know, but this is an unprecedented occasion, and we're
Just
nearing the end of the
acknowledging
campaign.
that there's a path back there that we didn't take. Just FYI.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
that's
unless
okay. I think we're
unless we
That
think that
is-
there's a
The completion of Ren's character growth over the campaign.
Thank you. That's what I was trying to get toward.
Ren doesn't grab anything shiny, and she doesn't explore the last path.
Is there anything I recognize
to-
about this
to
sword,
be
by the way?
fair,
Say that again, Paul.
Is there
The
anything,
only reason you didn't grab something was because there wasn't there.
is there anything that I recognize about the sword? Is it overtly magical by any stretch of the imagination, or will I have to take a look at it heavier?
It doesn't look to hold any special properties. It's a very nice short sword. It's got the motif of a dragon etched along the scabbard, but it just seems to be nothing more than that. Just a very nice short sword.
Okay. I'm adding that to my
I mean,
item chest as very nice short sword.
Okay. Making your way back northward, you don't see any other signs of trouble. You step past the beaten, broken, slashed, battered bodies of guard drakes, flesh golems, cult members, and leaving the bloodshed of your path of destruction through the caldera of the Well of the Dragons, or through the tunnels. You emerge back into the caldera, and it has started to rain since the last time you were outside, and you still hear the sounds of battle. Coming from around the mountain, like to your left-hand side as you exit.
Coming round the mountain.
Where are you headed now?
I mean,
Probably want to head back towards where we saw. Like where we met with everyone, right? Like basically the way we came.
Yeah.
Everyone on board with that?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
unless we see something else on the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Five.
You see occasionally the corpse of a dragon that has fallen to the ground to join the rest of the bones alongside the mountain of the Well of Dragons here. the further you get alongside the mountain, you see more and more more and more of the outcome of the battle that is being fought here. In particular along the western edge, or this would be the northern edge. You see the fallen forms of tree ants, the occasional griffin, mixed in with a number of cult forces. And after about 10-15 minutes of returning this way, you see kind of the full aftermath of the battle, just a pile of bodies spread across the caldera. And you see a number of forces still standing that at least number the amount dead just within sight. But what you notice are, rather than bodies in the midst of fighting for their lives, you see men and women with their weapons raised high, collectively cheering as the forces of the cult are in wild retreat. And from the south, you see the Purple Dragon Knights and the War Wizards of Cormyr have caught the cult forces in a pincer-like attack and are on the tail end of just a complete rout at this point. The cult forces are running in all directions, most of them not getting outside of the caldera, and
Taking pot shots at anything that seems like it's getting out of reach of anyone.
it's fine.
Do we see Chuth anyway?
Make a perception check.
Oh. You knew she couldn't. You knew she couldn't make it that long without looking for something, man. You knew she couldn't go that long.
If that dragon gets away after all of this bullshit.
Yeah, I'm on board with this. 100%.
I actually kind of am too.
Chuth. Do not see Chuth.
Okay.
You do see a couple of dragons that are still flying in the air, but are not attacking.
Okay.
As well as a number of chromatic dragons, none of which look to be green dragons, that are fleeing as well. Some that are flying off into the distance, some that are flying up and above where the Temple of Tiamat once stood, and are flying up and down into the mountain, presumably carving their own way through lava tunnels. You see one flying off to the north, carrying what looks to be a barrel, and you can see small objects falling from outside of the barrel as it's
It grabs
flying
some treasure before it vamped. Nice.
The battle has been won, and slowly over the course of the next few hours, as night falls in full, you really get a grasp of the full aftermath of it. The forces of Waterdeep and Baldur's Gate in particular were largely devastated by the battle. Despite having some training along the way, the conscript troops just did not prove up to the task of defeating the well-trained cult forces. And in the early stages of the fight, they were run through pretty well before the reinforcements from the Emerald Enclave arrived, at which point the tide began to turn. Shortly after you entered the well, the forces from Neverwinter arrived and helped sort of turn it into a stalemate, which kept up for quite some time. The the result of it being the bloodshed that you see now littering the open area in front of the mountains. But the moment that the temple crumbled, it was like the battle was lost in that specific moment. The fight left the cult members themselves completely, and without that backing, the mercenary forces that made them up very quickly were overrun and fled themselves, leaving the cult members to kind of fend for themselves. And when the Drakhorn stopped sounding, that was the moment for the cue for the chromatic dragons themselves to flee. You also learn that Silvery Moon's forces, while the Knights in Silver themselves suffered few casualties, the wizards that accompanied Thunderspells and Thunderspells himself were nearly eradicated. The Arcane Brotherhood that was fighting alongside them took a huge hit as well. But as you enter the large war tent that overlooks the entire area, you see Thunderspell's body laid out on a cot nearby that has been assembled, and you see that most of the other members of the council have survived the battle intact. Ontharfroom himself is in one corner, sitting on a chair. He's got his armor off, just like his leg plates on, and is wearing just regular clothing with his huge gut sort of hanging out the bottom, and you can see it. He's breathing in and out very heavily, and manages only to like lift a single hand toward everybody, like making eye contact with Cuyahoga in particular, and just giving like a thumbs up before going back to like catching his breath. And Ramalia Haventree is the only other member of the council that looks to carry any significant wounds. Has a huge bandage draped across her face, covering like her eye and one whole cheek. But
messed up her face. Oh god.
Yeah. Bloodmile's already gonna go over and see if he can do anything with his healing spells.
Wait, so is Thunderspells isn't dead? He's just not in good shape.
No, he's
No, he is.
No, he's absolutely dead.
Oh.
Okay, well.
Dina
can
looks.
do things about this.
Do we have, stuff? Also, we need to at some point go back and get Curtis and Rathmodar.
Yeah.
So, with the Well of Dragons largely cleared, scouting forces are sent in throughout the night, just to clear out any resistance that remains. That can include you if you wish. But at this point, there's no need to roleplay that. Because what little resistance is left isn't enough to withstand the scouts that are sent in, let alone you. Largely everyone within has fled. The treasure that remains that was not plundered by the chromatic dragons that were fleeing is quite vast. It will take the better part of a month to fully appraise and divvy out, and that area with the treasure and with the Drakhorn is the first priority to get secured. The wreckage of the Temple of Tiamat takes a couple of hours to dig through, even with the use of spells from wizards of the Arcane Brotherhood that are able to levitate large sections of the temple away. You find still trapped within a small area that was protected during the fall by a force cage, the dead body of Rath Modar alongside a very badly injured but still alive
Curtis.
Curtis Elias.
How?
Curtis, you son of a
Wow.
bitch! You did it.
When the temple fell, Curtis, being right next to the force cage, was able to find a small area of space that did not collapse in on him. He did take quite a bit of damage, but has leveled up enough throughout the course of this campaign to be resilient enough to survive. And you find him dirty, dusty, like blinking through just a soot-covered face, but very relieved that someone has come to rescue him.
Glenmile just upends a water skin over his face.
And he once he's been like cleaned off, once you've got him sort of
Presentable.
sat up and presentable, he will just stretch out a hand to you to clasp forearms and just says, "We did it."
Well, you're still alive. How do you feel?
He says, "I feel like I've completed my mission."
One would say so. You've done well.
And so,
Can I ask quick questions about?
At this point, what else do folks want to do around the Well of Dragons before we continue on and fully wrap up this campaign?
So Lorik is going to. By the way, am I still deaf? Is Lorik still deaf?
Lorik, thank you for reminding me. Lorik, around the time that you finish clearing out the well, like a bit into sorting through the debris of the Temple of Tiamat, your hearing finally comes back to you.
That was probably like the most painful ear pop ever.
Oh God.
And then Lorik is going to like the long rest, and I'm going to use resurrection on thunder spells and bring him back.
Okay. What questions did you want to ask, Ren?
Other survivors? Carlin, for one,
And
and Silenestrial and her group that went in looking like us.
Carlin, you learned from Romalia, did survive the battle. And Silenestrial and her companions that seemed to look like you were not recovered.
rip. That's a big rip. Gone.
They have not been recovered in like the immediate aftermath of the battle.
Okay.
What about Armand and Bunkamas?
Good question.
Armand and Brinkomas did both survive. Believe it or not, I was not going to kill off a player character.
I would have been okay with it, honestly.
Experience. Yeah, both of those characters are available for Paul and Justin to use in the future.
Is anyone going to revive Rath Modar?
Fuck him.
I guess we should talk. Well,
we should
talk
to the Red Wizards.
Yeah.
Red Wizards a thing and be like, hey, there's your guy. Do whatever weird shit you're gonna do with him.
Here's your corpse. Enjoy.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. So basically, all of the factions over the while all of this is happening. This would probably be before you actually went back into the Well of Dragons. The Red Wizards would be like there and waiting for Rath Modar, and when the body is given over to them, Nail Mitch is there, and she gives you her typical Red Wizard smile. The very the thin mouth, barely upturned at the edges smile, and just says, "You have done well, My lord and
I was
master
hoping-
will be quite pleased
Glen-
that you have delivered unto us this present.
Glenmile just looks super confused, like, what the fuck is this?
Would I know? Would I know whether the effect of feeble mind survives death and resurrection?
I forgot about
So-
that.
You can take a field trip to Thay if you want to find out.
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, hard
and-
pass from Glenmile.
The Red Wizards, before everything else is sorted out, taking their payment portal away.
I would like to ask. Ren would like to ask Nye if basically if she may have permission to visit via like one of the teleportation circles or something.
She says, what did she say?
Hell no, we won't go.
Make a persuasion check at disadvantage.
Does she get the bonus from Glenmile?
That was just a check.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Check. That's not a saving throw.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
That 18 would have been good.
Yeah, would've.
She says, there are many measures that one must go through to obtain such a benefit, but if you are willing to apply for the beginnings of what may be a fruitful endeavor into an embassy within the lands of Thay, you are welcome to fill out the paperwork.
Thanks,
Yeah,
I hate
mean,
it.
I'll be alive another several hundred years. I may do that. Thank you.
All right. Then, over the course of the following day, Thunder Spells is what's the casting time on Resurrection?
Isn't it an hour?
Thought it was, yeah.
Yeah, it's an hour.
Yeah. So once a long rest has been had, everybody can reset their character sheets,
Okay.
restore your hit points, spell slots, features, abilities, and once Lorik has prepared the spell and prepared the ritual, goes about restoring Thunder Tree to life.
Thunder Tree?
Thunder Spell to life.
Yeah, he's Thunder Tree
Tree
now,
is the
fuck
place.
him.
Thunder Tree is the place. Thunder Spells is the man.
That's fine.
Thunder butt.
To which his eyes pop open with a gasp. He surprisingly doesn't look any different. He looks like other people that you've seen come back, except for Brinkomas, who was given an entirely new form. You've seen them come back looking very fatigued, very physically strained. He springs right up, sitting up, and he puts a hand on Lorik's cheek, like grasps the back of his neck, and he says, "I knew I liked you, my boy."
Lorik responds, "Yeah, you wasn't gonna let you get out of teaching Gerbo everything you know." And he gives a knowing look to Thunder Spells.
Gerbo.
He says,
Hmm.
he says, "Well, it was. Let me tell you, it was the strangest thing. I was ready to teleport from one side of the Sunset Mountains to the other to get away from this dragon that was closing in on me, and it just didn't work."
Fair enough.
Lorik turns and looks at Cuyahoga and goes, "Yeah, that's weird. I wonder how that happened."
He says, "Whatever it was, it devastated us. Probably some sort of forbidden spell cast by the enemy wizards.
Yes, the enemy wizards. Absolutely.
Well, anyway,
I think you just answered one of the questions I was going to ask after we're done. So
oh hey, the temple's gone. Look at that. You succeeded.
Yes, not for lack of trying on the enemy's part, but yes, we've finished it.
Over the course of this day, there will be armies stationed here. Obviously, the Well of Dragons will be well protected. It having a giant hoard within it. The body of Severin is recovered as well from the temple and given over to the dragons, along with the Drakhorn, and a sizable portion of the hoard of the Dragon Queen that will be. It will take well more time than you will be here at the Well of Dragons to fully divvy out to the factions. But
Is there a representative from them to whom we can give the dragon mask?
to the metallic dragons,
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the mask.
You promised that, I believe. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, mask is given over to them as well.
Yep. Let me remove that.
Lady Elia, who is there in person to take these items, hefts the Drakhorn over her shoulder.
This tiny woman.
who
Yeah.
Barb did? Barb did that. All right.
Yeah, and she walks off north, and a short time after, she disappears into the forest. You see the form of a dragon flying from said forest northward. And so, whoever wants to go first, what are the Raven Hands doing upon conclusion of victorious battle over Severin and the Cult of the Dragon?
After saying goodbye to his companions, Glenn Miles starts walking home to Waterdeep. He's got a temple to lead with his father and a mission to complete, and he's done. He's had a long fucking day. So he heads home.
You return to a Temple of Helm that is very much a familiar place, with some familiar faces. You, along with everyone else, obviously return a hero, and Glenmile becomes a sort of bastion, a sentinel of Helm, and as countless numbers of soldiers and would-be protectors flock toward the temple to catch a glimpse of one of the famous Raven Hands and learn about the deity whom he serves.
Next.
Kyoga will kind of do the same thing. She'll return to Waterdeep, open up a clinic / temple to Balder, and try and do some good the rest of her days.
Yeah, Balder, a complete unknown, with such a famous head of the temple there, will almost certainly gain a small following and a foothold into this realm.
Congratulations, you have introduced a new deity. Ren is going to ask Ramalia if she could have permission over the next however long it takes, I guess, to put together a small sort of scouting party of harpers to hunt down the rest of the chromatic dragons that have fled. She would extend an invitation into that group to Carlin, to anybody in the party who is a member of the Harpers who would be interested in doing something like that.
Oh, Glenmile would have signed up for that in a heartbeat.
Well, yeah, she would. I mean, she would share this with everybody, like the idea at least with everybody at some point, and she would be coming back to Waterdeep in the interim, too. This would be like a long-term thing.
Yeah.
Basically try to live up even more so to her namesake and her heritage by taking these assholes out and recollecting all of her dragon teeth that she gave to the dwarves. And I have one other question related to that. Did we ever find the silver dragon scale armor that Elia asked us and that I asked Bronny Anvil about?
You find that within the Hoard of the Dragon Queen, yes. It takes days to uncover the pile enough to find it, but it is there.
Okay.
We had to
That's
fulfill our
something that
obligations.
Yeah, at some point I would find the time and the means to deliver that to her. I don't know exactly how I go about doing that, but
Okay. Romalia is willing to create this this team of scouts, but is very insistent that it remains a team of scouts, and that the Harpers are not going to be in the business of making dragons extinct, but reconnaissance and information is always a valuable thing. And
if they happen to attack us and we have to fight for our lives, then
she essentially is like, I have the power to stop funding this, and I trust that you will do this responsibly.
Ren asks her specifically for permission to kill Chuth, and at least just Chuth if we find him.
Dragons whom you have personal history with do not apply to this.
Okay.
But Carlin is more than willing to assist you in this, as well as the resurrected Silinestrial, who over the course of the following month is recovered, and some powerful spellcasting cleric whom you never meet is able to resurrect her. She is just there one day within the forces of the Harpers.
Cool. Is anybody else coming? Anybody else want to go dragon hunting?
I mean, like I said, Glenmile would probably be interested in that.
Yeah, Cuyahoga would be interested.
So, I think Goldine would too, actually, because Goldine at this point doesn't really know what he's going to do, and Goldine kind of does have something to share with the group. Is it okay? I can share it now.
Whatever you want to do, man.
Okay, so when I came into existence, which I really can't remember me being birthed, if you will, or even growing up as a child, I don't remember any of that kind of stuff, but in the beginning it was really fuzzy to me. I kind of just existed, if that made sense. But I was actually once a golden dragon who served Bahamut, and before I became in this life, I was a very proud person and very vain, to the point where actually Bahamut decided to teach me a lesson. So what he did is he sent me from my dragon form into this half-elf form, to this humanoid body. I had slight memories of my former life, but they were just very, very faint. But I was more or less sent on this planet to serve, or to prove my worth and my devotion for the cause of good. So Through my actions, I believe that by preventing the Dragon Queen from coming into this earth, I believe that I've fulfilled that duty. But there was a moment where we were in a dungeon, and I think some of you might be able to recall where you guys were all knocked out. Well, I had actually literally turned back into my golden dragon form when I had died.
Glenmile was the only one awake.
What's that?
Glenmile was awake.
Oh yeah, Glenmile was, yeah. Is Glenmile around right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I assume this is all happening prior to them splitting ways.
We're discussing what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. So Goldie more or less says, I had turned into my golden dragon form, and at that moment, I was given the okay to go back, but because I had pretty much grown fond of the group and believed in the cause, I chose and begged Bahamut for me to remain in my half-elf form and relieve me completely of being a golden dragon, to finish living my life out on this earth to help serve everybody else. And so that's what I did. And he granted that permission to me. So I'm no longer a golden dragon in form. I am what you see, but that is what I gave up to very happily defend this earth. So I really don't have a place to where to go now. So I enjoyed hunting dragons with you, and I would gladly continue to do that until my life is up on this earth.
Glenmile all but flat out says you always have a home at the Temple of Helm.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'd be happy to have you.
And this isn't yet, until it comes up in another adventure. This isn't a active adventuring party per se, because these characters aren't gaining off-screen experience, but there is a Harper's scouting party of Ren, Goldine, Glenmile. Who else was there? Was one other, right? Cuyahoga?
Yeah,
Silinestrial.
I'm in.
Along with Carlin and Silinestrial. A new party of 6 that
Is Brinkomoss coming? Is Brinkomoss busy?
He does have other plans, which I will get into.
They set off once everything is settled to provide the Harpers with information on the Sword Coast's lingering chromatic dragons and their whereabouts. That leaves us with Lorik, Vina, Armand, and Brinkomoss.
I can go. Just 1 second. Okay. So Vina has decided first to return to her family and meet her great niece Vina, whom Brinkomoss told her about. She spends a little bit of time with them. She goes to her old monastery where she had trained for decades and formally resigns after sharing her story. She, and this may take some amount of time, she finds Delon Winterhound and speaks with him about the possibility of the Emerald Enclave helping her set up a new monastery specifically designed to train warrior monks. She says the first name I could come up with was Ale Barrels, Barrels of Fists, but I don't think anyone will go for that. And of course, if in the future, if anything should come of it, she will be ready to act. But right now, she's going to focus on teaching.
Okay, yeah. The Emerald Enclave is definitely behind that, as long as the teachings of the Emerald Enclave are part of it. To always keep civilization and nature in full balance without letting one overtake the other. And Vina can spend the ensuing month preparing that and getting that started.
Awesome. while I'm doing this, I'll go ahead and do Brinkomoss. I want to also rewind a little bit, and Paul, if this is all right with you, during the battle against the cult, there was a moment during the fight where Brinkomoss cast a fireball on a group of
Oh
cultists
dear.
attacking a lone fighter. Brinkomoss did not recognize the fighter because of the distance and all the stuff that was going on. Presumably, the fighter Armand did not recognize Brinkomoss because Brinkomoss has looked completely different. And this time he avoids the fireball, takes no damage. But
That's
the
not
cultists are.
possible.
Well, he's not in the middle. I'm saying it wasn't the exact same situation as last time. It was just nearby. Anyway, so after all of that, Brinkomoss sends word to his father with Vina because he knows that she's traveling that direction, that he's safe. And now that he is confident in his abilities and he has stopped having the apocalyptic nightmares of Tiamat's return, he decides that first he will become a full member of the Harpers, and his primary goal will be gathering information as a bard. He will go from town to town as a celebratory, happy bard, entertaining everyone and covertly getting any information. He said he never really thought about it before, that I guess being human has its advantages. I never could have blended in like this as a tiefling.
Excellent.
So,
Mm-hmm.
And yes, that's fine.
I figured it was.
Yeah. As for Armand, he's actually going to form the mercenary company of the Dragon Slayer. Thought that'd be an interesting little twist. I see cattail.
Mm-hmm.
There is cattail.
But yes, he'll form the mercenary company of the Dragon Slayer and go about the Sword Coast, selling out his services.
Every once in a while, when the Harpers don't have anything to do, Ren casts Seeming on herself and sneaks away and pretends not to be Ren and joins that. Or secretly tips them off to where dragons are.
But he knows. They both know.
All right, that leaves us with Lorik.
Okay, so Lorik continues his lifelong pursuit of knowledge. Also, stopping in different cities, towns to see his friends when possible. Sending them, messages, seeing how they are, and with Ren's dragon hunting group, to see if they're close to him, and joining them if ever possible. Also, goes to Silvery Moon to check up on a young deep gnome that before he joined the Raven Hands, he was following the group and trying to catch up with them, and he had found a young deep gnome trapped underneath the earth. He rescued this young deep gnome, and the deep gnome went along with Lorik for a little bit, and then at that time Lorik noticed that the young deep gnome had quite the magical abilities. So, knowing thunder spells, took the young boy to thunder spells, and asked him to take him under his wing and teach him what he could. So he checked up on young Gerbo Millibonk is the deep gnome's name. And yeah, so Orc just spent the rest of his days pursuit of knowledge and seeing and helping his friends whenever he could.
Right. The the Harpers and the mercenary group founded by Armand over the next few months will find themselves hard at work. After scattering back to their lairs, the vindictive chromatic dragons of the Sword Coast, furious at having their queen vanquished, begin to engage in the occasional spree of destruction that has not been seen in Faerun for centuries. Their activity increases, giving both of those groups plenty to do. Meanwhile, even in victory, the armies of the Sword Coast have paid a steep cost in the fight against Tiamat. In addition to all of the fallen soldiers, there were also plenty of leaders representing the ruling nobility of countless regions and houses that fell in the fight. But the situation is not all bleak. Amid the darkness, stirring instances of generosity and cooperation stand out. None of those greater than the legend of the Ravenhands. They, together, in their fight to stop the rise of Tiamat, have provided folk with generations of tales of exploits and sacrifices as the Sword Coast begins to rebuild and set their sights on better days. Congratulations, everyone, on completing the Tyranny of Dragons.
Yay, we did it! Yay!
Hooray!
Does Carlin ever become comfortable?
What was the
Once
music
he-
you were playing for the end game?
Once he's hung out with you for actually for a couple of days, yeah, that wears off.
Okay.
The music, that endgame music was called Elven Dirge.
That's pretty good. Oh, so it was built in?
Okay.
It is technically by a person or group called Goof Parade.
Okay.
Yes.
Alright.
It's also known as Menai Umvela Ata.
I'm gonna cut the recording here, then I'll upload it.
Heard it.
I'm gonna cut
Okay.
this. I'm gonna cut the recording here, then I'll upload it. Save it once I do that. I'll give you the link so you can show it to your friend.